Okay, so that was like, I don't know, one of the best directs I have ever seen in my life. It didn't have all the games that I was expecting. I really thought we were going to see 3D Mario, but the amount of stuff in this direct was absolutely bonkers, and I want to go through it because there is just so much to do. So let's just get started on this. So immediately, absolutely love the brand new Nintendo Direct Switch 2 intro. I thought it was really cute how they used the little Mario Galaxy star bit. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but it was a really good way to kind of start the direct up. And of course, they immediately started with Mario Kart, which we know the title now as Mario Kart World, 24 players, open world, and it is literally all the stuff that I predicted. Now, I don't know what the story is, but if you watched my prediction video a couple months ago, I predicted the game was going to be open world, and there was not going to be Nintendo characters, but all the Mario characters were going to have a boatload of costumes. That is exactly what we saw in this direct. So what I want to do is go through this slowly and just try to find more really cool stuff in here. Okay, so we know that this is Mario Bros. Circuit. Obviously, this is the first track, and just look at the scope of this, man. This is so cool. Like, this is, I still can't believe that I basically predicted this entire game. Now, I don't think I predicted everything correctly, but it's pretty wild how close I was. So let's just like look at all these characters, man. There are so many to look through. Okay, we saw Bowser Jr., Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Pauline, Toad, Wario, Luigi, Birdo, Shy Guy, Baby Rosalina, Lekatu, Daisy, Yoshi, Peach, Bowser, Toadette, Baby Daisy, King Boo. King Boo has a new design, by the way. And then Bowser, obviously Mario. Okay, so that already, you know, that's all the basic stuff, right? All of the typical characters you'd expect. Everyone basically has like redesigns, which is really cool. Okay, Sumer Bro in the back. Let's just kind of like go through here. Dude, there's just so much to look at. Look at that new motorcycle, man. The motorcycle's so cool. They have Grolls from New Super U. That's really cool. Look at that bike. Dude, I love that they just have like completely new bikes. So I think I also predicted this too. There was not going to be a system where you could swap out your cars, wheels, and gliders. It looks like it's just going to be bikes and gliders because the vehicles were transforming like it was Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed. That happens in this trailer. Yeah, because look at this. Look at this like jet bike that we have. This is honestly very similar to Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed. What is this? This is a really cool level. This level, I think it's a brand new level. It looks kind of familiar, but I think it's brand new. And then DK Pass. So, oh yeah. So this is DK Pass, I guess, from Mario Kart DS. Look at this, dude. This level is so goddamn cool. They're remaking 25M into like this really cool like battle kind of area. Also, I'm just realizing I don't think there's gliders. I think you just straight up turn into a plane, or I guess like it is still gliding. It just looks like an airplane now. I don't think it's actually any different. I'm trying to see if there's any new characters. They all seem to be the same characters. Oh, hold on. Koopa Construction. I think this is Toad's Factory. No, it's not Toad's Factory. But someone said they heard Toad's Factory music when I was watching this earlier. Okay, so I think this is a brand new stage. This is definitely a new level. Whatever this is nuts. Oh, look at that. Look at the castle. Everything's so just vast and expansive. Bowser, I saw Birdo. I think Birdo was another new one we haven't seen yet. Look at that bike, bro. Yo, okay, look at that. There's another costume for the Koopa. See, this is literally what I was saying. A costume for Wario, a costume. Hold on, that's a Peach costume, I think, from Mario Kart Tour. I forget the exact name, but I recognize it. Okay, this looks like some sort of level that it's like a 1920s kind of filmy level. It kind of reminds me of like a weird version of Music Park to an extent. Also, I absolutely love the new King Boo design. Like they have completely changed his face. His eyebrows, I think, his eyebrows is the main thing that looks a little bit different. He just looks a little more cartoony now. It looks like you can just like rail grind. You can straight up just rail grind in this game now. And this is Shy Guy Bazaar. There's rail grinding. So Shy Guy Bazaar is another course that's been reintroduced. And then there's this. What's going on there? You can like trick off the sides of walls now. And this is my favorite part. You can play as the goddamn Mario Kart Wii cow. You can play as the cow. And what? Okay, this is a new level too. This is just wild. Okay, Mega Mushroom. Hold on, the Mega Mushroom is back. Hammer Bro. Hammer Bro is technically a new character. He was in Tour, but he's new for regular Mario Kart. The coin box item from Mario Kart Tour. I think I called that as well. Oh my god, the coin box item. Okay, of course, Bullet Bill. That's not a surprise. This level looks similar, but I can't recognize it. Also, what is this? You like turn into a truck? I don't know what's going on there, but you turn into a truck, I guess. Okay, Mario eats a burger, and then he gets a new okay, so that's interesting, the way the costumes work. So I guess you eat the food, and then you just turn into a different costume. I don't know. That's really weird. Also, is this Moo Moo Farm? That might be Moo Moo Farm, potentially. Dude, there's so much going on in this trailer. Also, I think a Peach redesign. Her face definitely looks different now. Shy Guy. You know what? This might be a remake of a SNES course, potentially. And look at that. There's all the costumes, dude. That costume's in tour. That one's in tour. These other two, I don't recognize them. Peach Stadium. Okay, I think this is another new level. This costume was in tours. You can play as a snowman? You can play as a snowman. Dude, I love this game. This game is going to be awesome. And there's a Charge and Chuck way back there. Look at, oh, that's a cool shot. Look at that Waluigi, bro. Okay, this looks like another new level. There's like a cannon. Hold on, there's that shopping bag again. Okay, so I will say I did not predict the shopping bag correctly. That is not, I guess it's not an item for like a shop, but you use it for something, because here it is just in a regular race. I don't know. I guess I don't really understand what that's for. Hold on. What's that? Kamek? Is that an item? I think that's a Kamek item. That's really interesting. I guess this is just a generic Mario. This is probably the Mario circuit track. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like there's about 8 to 9 unique areas. Look at the shell on Bowser Jr. There it is. That is the whole world. Man, there is just, look at how big this is. This is nuts. You know, I think the fact that this game is so big, this is why we're not getting a new 3D Mario. We are going to be consumed by this game for months, I think. That kind of looks like Toad Harbor a little bit. It's not, but it looks very similar to it. Oh, Airship Fortress. There it is. Yep, so Airship Fortress is confirmed. Okay, so I actually didn't realize this. There is time of day and weather conditions. That's very interesting. So not only is this entire thing open world, and you can just kind of play tracks whenever you run into them, I guess, as you're driving around. They also change in design and how they look. That is, it's not a new concept, but for Mario Kart, that is a very, very new idea. All right, so this is, I guess, like what just the regular Grand Prix looks like. We have Mario Bros. Circuit, Crown City, DK Spaceport, and Whistletop Summit. So those are all brand new tracks. Okay, so Flower Cup, we have Desert Hill, Shy Guy Bazaar, Wario Stadium, and Airship Fortress. Dude, the Wario Stadium looks literally nothing like the Mario Kart 64 one. And this is, I believe, last N64 track to get a remake is Wario Stadium. It finally happened. And then of course, the rest of these are great picks. I don't know if they show anything else, though. Okay, DK Pass, Sky High Sunday. Okay, that's really cool. Starview Peak, that's brand new. And then Wario Shipyard. Bro, I predicted Wario Shipyard as well. Okay, here we go. Koopa Troopa Beach. Okay, nice. Fairway Oasis is new. Crown City is new. And then Peach Stadium. So it seems like the brand new mode, or I guess the single player, is called Knockout Tour. Okay, so just kind of going back here. I'm trying to see if I can... All I can recognize is just Moo Moo Meadows. Okay, I think all these other ones are brand new tracks. Dude, look, there are going to be so many tracks in this game.
Stop from one corner of the world.
Okay, and then... I don't recognize any of these. These all look like brand new tracks as well. Okay, so Knockout Tour, this does not really seem like the single player mode. I guess this is a brand new mode where basically it's like an arcade style mode where you have to place at a certain rank, otherwise you get knocked out. It's actually very similar to something like F-Zero 99, where a certain amount of players, I think it's like, you have to make like top 70 or something within the first race, or within the first lap or whatever, to not get eliminated. So to see a knockout mode in Mario Kart is very interesting. Okay, and there's a crown as well. So I guess crown just confirms what place you're in if you're in first. Okay, so the next mode that they've got, Free Roam. This is what I predicted. Literally open world Mario Kart. This is absolutely insane that they're doing this. I can't believe they're actually doing this. But yeah, it's, again, pretty much what I described in my prediction video. Like, basically the same idea. And it almost looks like Dino Dino Jungle is another track, but I can't exactly tell. The Nabbit. Of course, Nabbit is another confirmed character. Can we just talk about this box art, too? This box art is so goddamn cool and stylish and just gorgeous. It confirms, let's see, we have Mario, Luigi, Toad. Let's just look at, like, for new characters, right? So we have the Penguin from Mario 64. That's awesome. Spike. We have a Pokey. Donkey Kong is holding a burger. So the burger was that costume thing that we saw earlier. And then, of course, we have We have actually 2 photos of a Goomba, which is really cool. You can play as a Bitty Bud. You can play as a goddamn Bitty Bud. Oh my god. Honestly, the more of this I watch, the more of this Mario Kart that I'm like really looking at, I'm not even that surprised at this point that we're not getting a 3D Mario, just because there is so much in this game. Dude, I'm going to be playing this game for freaking forever. Like, literally for months. I mean, probably all summer, there's going to be stuff to go over, make videos about. It's going to be crazy. And the fact that we are getting a Mario Kart World Direct in just a couple of weeks to show off even more of this game, yeah, you know what? I'm not even that surprised that we're not getting 3D Mario this year. This is me post-editing this video. More information has come out. We found out that Mario Kart World cost $80. The very first Nintendo game to cost $80. Now, a lot of people are really concerned about this, just because this is very high, and with how things are with the economy right now, and with tariffs going into place potentially, and it's going to, increase the cost of living just in general. I'm not going to lie, this does seem maybe a little bit too high for this game. Now, to be fair, this looks incredible. There is so much in this game. I think 80 does kind of make sense because of how ridiculous and absurd and just filled to the brim with content Mario Kart World seems to have. But also, this is a very, very expensive game. And honestly, I guess like the biggest worry that people are having about this, does that mean that since Nintendo's doing this, is everyone else in the game industry going to switch to $80 games? Because let's just be real here, Nintendo's going to get away with this price. This is still going to sell millions and millions of copies. Here's my thing. I'm a little more optimistic about this. I do not expect Switch 2 games to all be $80. I think that is going to bite Nintendo in the ass if they actually do this, because this is way too expensive for most people. People will pay this much for Mario Kart World or GTA 6, but anything beyond that, it's just not happening. Now, it is worth noting that if you get the Mario Kart World bundle with the Nintendo Switch 2, then the game is technically only $50 because the regular Switch is priced at $449, and then getting this for $499, you get the game for $50. So I guess in that case, that is, a discount, I suppose, but still $500 for this in one game. That is still quite a bit. But, after seeing everything that the Switch 2 has, it supports 4K, there is 120 frames per second. It is honestly a fairly powerful system for what it is. So that was basically how the Direct opened with Mario Kart World, an incredible start. I'm really glad they actually started with the game, because at this point, they start talking about some of the Switch 2 hardware, and it slows down the Direct a little bit, which makes sense. But basically, all the stuff that they showed for the Switch 2, it's literally everything that we wanted. So of course, the first thing they show is the C button, which is basically voice chat. You can also do screen sharing, which is really neat. So it's funny because the layout actually looks very similar to just like Discord. When you look at the fact that you have like your little icons in the middle, and they have a little green green border pop out. They just copied Discord straight up. Something I did find to be very bizarre is how laggy the screen share looks. And what's really funny is they actually showed a lot of this. Like, they showed a lot of footage of super laggy screen share. It just straight up looks bad. Like, the game's running at like 10 frames a second, and the resolution drops to like, I don't know, 240p or something. I don't know if it's like that when you have screen share for like just maybe one person or two people. Even with 4 people in a row, it just lags it bad. And I understand, this is not a PC. It's not as powerful as a PC. It's a handheld tablet. I kind of get it, but the fact that they showed so much of it and how bad it looks is honestly kind of baffling to me. That's not the only thing that they showed, of course. There is now a microphone on the Switch 2, and you can use that to talk directly to people. And there's even a brand new attachment, a Switch 2 camera that you just plug in right at the top of the USB-C. And it's not just that, but the new Pro Controller, which they also showed off, also has a microphone, and it has a headphone jack, and also buttons on the back, which can be programmable, which is, again, pretty awesome. And it looks like a regular Switch Pro Controller. It doesn't really look any different, besides the couple extra features. So I'm hoping that isn't too much more expensive than the Switch 1 Pro Controller, because that one was a little spendy, but I guess we'll see at some point. And we also have prices for the controllers. I just wanted to bring this up real quick. The Switch 2 Pro Controller at $80, not a surprise there. $90 for these. Okay, that's getting a little expensive. $34.99 for the Joy-Con 2 charging grip. The straps are $12.99. That is insane. And they have Joy-Con 2 wheels for $20. The Switch 2 camera at $50. You know what? That's actually a fairly affordable price for a camera. The dock at $110. $110. And then, you know, carrying case, whatever. Okay, so, yeah, these accessories are also pretty goddamn expensive. I'm not gonna lie. What I was really hoping was that Nintendo would be able to keep the Switch 2 price at $400, keep the games at $70, but then upcharge on the accessories. But it looks like they're just upcharging on everything. I mean, dude, this is a lot. This is a lot for controllers. And yes, I know these have a lot of features. You know, it's got the whole mouse thing for both of them, and there's a lot of technology packed into them, but that is a lot to ask, man. I'm really, really curious how people are going to react to this. I think people are just going to have to skip on Switch 2, you know? Or at the very least, skip on accessories. I'm also curious what the quality of the Switch 2 camera is. Like, we don't really know. And that's another thing that was really funny, is that you can actually have your face cam while you're screen sharing, and it kind of like cuts out everything else besides you in frame, which again is exactly like Discord. I almost have to wonder if Discord did work with them on this, or if Nintendo just straight up copied everything they did, because it is remarkably similar to just Discord, except it looks a lot worse. Now, what was very interesting about this is there's going to be some older Switch 1 games that are going to have this new Switch 2 camera compatibility. So something that they ended up showing was that Mario Party Superstars, you can play mini games and just the board game itself while having reactions of you playing. That's honestly pretty awesome. You know, I think we've seen that maybe a couple of times in other games, but seeing it on Nintendo console, this is a brand new thing. Now, what I'm not really a fan of is that to use Game Chat, you have to have a Switch Online membership. Now, they're going to be offering it for free for almost a year. I honestly am not really a fan of that. Like, something like this should just be available for free, but like, I guess I kind of get it, right? You know, this is a way that Nintendo is able to offer just more benefits for Switch Online members, but at the same time, this is just Game Chat. Like, I don't think people are going to want to pay for this when they can just use Discord for free. And I'm actually curious if people will even end up using this just because the screen share is so bad. I mean, if the voice chat is nice, if that still works really well, then maybe that's all that matters, right? Something else I was very surprised about was actually seeing Game Share, which basically is like DS Download Play, for anyone that remembers that, when you could basically just like play multiplayer games off of just one person's copy. The fact that they're doing that is very, very interesting. It just seems like one of those things that would have already been included with Switch 1, but I guess it wasn't. So the fact that we're getting it now for Switch 2 games, that's pretty awesome. And then at this point, they basically started talking about the Switch itself, just showing off a lot more of the features. So first thing, of course, a bigger screen, 7.9 inches, so almost an entire inch bigger. The most surprising thing by far, well, I guess I could also say like 1080p on the display, right? You can go up to 120 frames per second on the Switch. That is pretty nuts. Like, that is something I would not expect from a Nintendo console just in general. So seeing that is fantastic. It really shows the power of what the Switch 2 is going to bring to the table. We really saw that with all the third-party games that showed up as well. And of course, they confirmed LCD screen. Not a surprise. We'll probably see a Switch 2 OLED a few years from now. And then HDR support, you know, great option. And I guess like one of the biggest things is 4K as well. So yeah, the Switch will be able to output 4K, which is honestly incredible for a tablet. I mean, it's still right. It's through the dock, right? It's still only 1080p on the actual screen, but that is still absolutely amazing. And they also talked about the bigger SL and SR buttons. Obviously, a massive improvement to the Switch 1's puny little buttons. I still don't see myself really using a Joy-Con sideways. It's just not big enough. Something else I was really surprised to see was the larger controller sticks. I thought they'd just kind of be like the exact same size, right? Like, you wouldn't really, you wouldn't think they'd be like any bigger, but you know, the Joy-Cons themselves are also bigger, so it makes sense that the joysticks are a little bit larger. And then one of the final things they talked about was mouse controls. So this was teased in the reveal trailer, so actually seeing it officially is so cool. What I'm really surprised about, though, is that they didn't show off like an extension grip, because I can imagine that using this is basically doing this with the mouse with a Joy-Con is going to get uncomfortable after like an hour or 2 hours of play, because you don't have like a bunch of grip on your hands like you do with a regular mouse. Someone's got to come out with some sort of accessory to shape it more like a mouse. Like whether Nintendo does it or some third-party company does it, it's gonna happen, right? It has to happen. And we're also getting better audio, which is really cool. We're getting 3D audio, so I guess like, you know, surround sound. So as they're showing off some of these Switch 2 features, we get a very, very quick glimpse at the Mario Kart World character select screen, and it looks like they show 12 characters at a time, and you can scroll through a bunch of different menus. As you can see, there's 4 different menus. So very interesting to see the character select screen. And of course, you know, there's the kickstand. The kickstand is nice. You know, it's very similar to like the Switch OLED one. And then next they moved onto storage, 256 gigabytes. You know, they make it sound like it's a lot of space. You can store eight times as many games, but like, let's be honest, that's still not going to be a lot of space, especially if you're doing all digital. Like for me, I have a 1 terabyte card and like, I don't know, 600 gigabytes of games. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to get a brand new micro SD, because they said that they are only doing micro SD express cards, and that is it. Yeah, I'm going to have to get probably a 1 terabyte micro SD express card. So at this point, they have literally said everything that we want to hear about the Switch 2. Like, it honestly still doesn't even feel real. Like, I can't believe that we are basically getting exactly what we wanted from the next generation of Nintendo. The same console, but stronger, with a couple of funny little features, which mostly just like the mouse, right? The mouse and the C button are the 2 big things. At this point, they also show off a brand new game. And it's not 1-2 Switch, it is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And what I found really, really perplexing about this is that it looks very, very inspired by Astro's Playroom, which is, of course, the free demo game you get on the PS5, where you kind of play. It's a little like platformer. You're running around. This game looks very, very similar to that. So not only does Welcome Tour kind of show how the Switch works, it does have some mini games. There was like this golf one that looked kind of interesting. There was this weird like UFO game. And what this really reminded me of was like Wii Play or Wii Party or something. Now, something I did find very funny was the game cards, because they also talked about that very briefly. They're the exact same size as the Switch 2. It doesn't have a little nub compared to like DS or 3DS games. It is the same size, except the games run faster and they're red now. Okay, I mean, that's kind of cool. It's cool that they even have physicals. It's nice to see Nintendo in our year, 2025 is not going all digital like everyone else is trying to do. Hi, post-editing again. I wanted to talk about the game key cards, because there is currently some information spewing around that games will not be stored physically on the Nintendo Switch 2 cards. So it'll essentially be like a PS5 disc, where it's basically just a license to play the game, but there's no actual game data on it. However, there is a tweet on Blue Sky, which I think is worth bringing up, and he says, so everybody freaking about the game key cards for Switch 2 games, why would they announce higher read speeds for the Switch 2 cards during the Direct if no game data was on? Which I think is a very, very good point here. So I think what's probably happening is that some games are going to be actually on the cartridge, and then some of them aren't. And I think all that this is really talking about is the option for developers to basically make their Switch 2 physical cards to just have a digital code on them. So, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of games are still going to actually be on the physical cards, but that is something that I thought was worth bringing up real quickly. So after all of that, they're basically done talking about the hardware of the Switch 2. They finally announced the release date, and it is June 5th. So the very, very beginning of June. Which is very, very exciting. We are going to have a lot to do this summer, which is dope. I mean, we'll be playing Mario Kart World for at least a few months, if not more. And then we dive into the new Donkey Kong game, which we'll get to at the end of this. And after that, they talked about different game types, which at first I was a little confused about, because I'm like, game types? What does that even mean? So the first one, Switch 2 games. The second one, Switch 1 games. And the third one, Switch 2 Edition games. And this is something that was kind of, I wouldn't say leaked. It was something that was shown on Nintendo's website right after the Nintendo Direct from last week. So everyone was kind of trying to figure out, like, what is Nintendo Switch 2 Edition? Is it just like upgrades? Like, how exactly this is going to work? And it's pretty much what everyone expected. It takes Switch 1 games and it just upgrades them in some way using Switch 2 to either enhance the visuals or offer brand new content, new features. It uses the Switch 2 camera, and there's actually a lot more Switch 2 editions than I was expecting to see. And the first one was Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. Say that 5 times as fast. But yeah, this one is interesting. It has brand new mini games. There's a couple of new modes. You can use your camera now for the mini games, which is what we saw earlier when they were showing off the C button. The only thing that I wish this had was like a couple new boards. That would have been nice. It doesn't look like there's any brand new boards, but for what's here, it looks fine. It's nothing too crazy, but the fact that they are offering a new edition is really cool, and the fact there's new mini games is also really nice. I don't think it's any regular new mini games. I think it's just like camera mini games and mic mini games, and that is something that I found to be really interesting. We have not seen a microphone Mario Party minigame since Mario Party 7. And then there was like this carnival mode thing where you can use the mouse con to like shoot down bitty buds and stuff. It looks pretty silly. You know, again, Nintendo's just really trying to use their mouse, which is great. You know, and when we get to the third parties too, so many of the third party games say, yes, we use mouse controls, which is just incredible. I'm so glad Nintendo's not using it for just like one game and moving on. No, they're actually trying to integrate the mouse mode with multiple games. I can't wait to see what like Mario Maker is like. Mario Maker is gonna be freaking awesome. When they were done talking about Mario Party Jamboree, they said that you can also purchase an upgrade pack if you already own the game, but they never said how much it was going to be. They always just said you can upgrade if you want. There's also physical versions of all of these Switch 2 edition versions, which I don't know. That's kind of surprising that they're doing that. That's really sick. But they never said what the price was, so we don't know if it's like $5, $10, $20. Hopefully it's not more than like $10 or $15 for these upgrades, because I'm going to be getting pretty much all of these. They didn't really talk about games running better just natively. So like as an example, Super Mario Odyssey. If you just play that on the Switch 2, does the game run better or does it run exactly the same as it does on Switch 1? They did not talk about that at all. After that, they talked about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, both getting Switch 2 editions. Now, I was expecting one of these to show up, but both of them, I was like, wow, that's really shocking. And of course, I absolutely love that they showed off the Korok Forest, because, you know, everyone knows how bad that runs on Switch 1. Like, it runs like 10 frames a second. So showing that in the trailer within the first 5 seconds, that's great. Absolutely funny. Nintendo knows what they're doing there. Yeah, I mean, the game looks a lot better now, obviously. So I'm not going to like replay these games. I am going to get these, and I'm definitely going to test them out, play them for like maybe an hour or so, just to get like a rough idea. And they also showed off this thing called Zelda Notes, which is kind of like a guide in case you get stuck, if you're like trying to find like a certain Korok or whatever. This is actually one of those games where that makes a lot of sense to have a guide for that. However, I don't like that they're still using the Switch Online app. The fact that they're putting it on their Nintendo Switch app, I just don't see anyone using these Zelda Notes. And then they show Kirby in the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World. I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very surprised to see this. Just seeing them update Kirby in the Forgotten Land is freaking awesome. One of the best Kirby games of all time, so I'm so glad that they are basically doing DLC for this game. And something else that's really exciting about this game runs at 30 frames a second. This is gonna run at 60. They also showed this like new spring ability, which kind of reminds me of like Spring Mario from Mario Galaxy. However, a lot of the levels look like they come from the first game. So I don't know if this is like remixing levels from the first game or if there are gonna be brand new levels. I'm not exactly sure, but just the fact that there is anything new from this game is awesome. And then they show Metroid Prime 4. It somehow looks even better than it did last week. It looked incredible from the Switch 1 Direct. And then mouse controls, man. They got mouse controls with the right hand, and then you can aim and like shoot and stuff with the left hand. Absolutely incredible. I'm so glad that they're doing mouse support for Prime 4. I mean, it was kind of like a given, right? But just actually seeing it in motion is just awesome. And another thing I found really surprising is that they're doing what Sony does with their games, with a quality mode and a performance mode. So you can play Prime 4 at 4K 60 FPS with HDR, or performance at 1080p, 120 FPS. And then handheld, I guess it says 720p. There's 120 FPS mode in this game. 120, dude, that's bonkers. And one of the funniest things, honestly, the last one, Pokemon Legends Z through A, holy crap, the game looks like a billion times better. Oh my god, man. Because like looking at the Pokemon Day version, and then compared to this, it is a striking difference. It's like the fact they showed the worst version first and then this one. I don't understand that at all. And then after that, they show off a brand new game called Dragon Drive. And basically, you play as these dudes that are like in these, I guess, wheelchairs. And you use the mouse to move around. And then you can like shoot with the mouse as well. I love this. Honestly, I don't know how fun it's going to be. It looks very, like, basic. It looks like there isn't much to it. Kind of reminds me of, like, ARMS in a weird way, but I love that Nintendo is still doing silly stuff like this. It also kind of gives, like, a Rocket League vibe in a weird sense, but yeah, it just looks very basic. Like, there's just not much to it. And at this point, we start getting the third parties. And, of course, these are absolute bangers. They start with Elden Ring. It looks great still. I don't think it looks as good as, like, you know, the other versions, but it looks so damn clean that I might actually just play this on the Switch, depending on what the frame rate is. If they have a 60 frames per second version, I'll probably just play this on Switch. And then they showed Hades 2, which honestly isn't that surprising considering, you know, Hades 1 was on the original Switch, but still really cool to see that. And following that was Street Fighter 6. And again, not really that surprising. They're just dropping the biggest games that they've got. But what was surprising is that there's 3 amiibo for Street Fighter 6. Still amiibo. After all this time, we're still doing amiibo. And after that, we got another Daemon X Machina game. This is kind of like the last game that I would expect to get a sequel. And then Split Fiction got announced. You know, that's another one. Again, not really much of a surprise. And EA drops in with Madden and FIFA. So, like, yeah, okay, sure, that's cool, I guess. Now, what I kind of forgot existed was Hogwarts Legacy. The game came out a couple years ago, and it's coming to Switch. And it looks pretty comparable. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 dropped right after that, which was great. No, 1 and 2, I believe, was on Switch 1. So seeing these games come here as well, not much of a surprise. And following that was Hitman, World of Assassination Signature Edition. I don't know a lot about Hitman, but very, very neat to see this game come as well. And that was followed up with Project 007. So I guess it's like a sequel to GoldenEye 007. And I couldn't believe this, but like, a Bravely Default remake. Like, Bravely, I mean, I know a lot of people like Bravely Default, but I don't know, I'm just kind of surprised to see it revealed here. I thought that this would be something that we would have seen like in a later direct, not the first Switch 2 direct, but that is nice to see more 3DS games get ported over. It honestly, I will admit, it doesn't look great. It looks like it's just an upscale and not really a proper remake, but hey man, that other remaster we're getting off 3DS, that's still fine. And Yakuza 0, Director's Cut also got announced. It'll be great to see some more Yakuza. And following that, we are getting another Hyrule Warriors. That is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm not gonna lie, this just looks like Age of Calamity again. I don't see anything that's that different about it. You know, speaking of this game anyway, why didn't we see a Switch 2 edition for Age of Calamity? Like, if any Switch Zelda game needs a Switch 2 edition with better frame rates, it's Age of Calamity, so I feel like that has to be coming. I'm not gonna lie, I remember I was like saying GameCube. Like, they're actually doing GameCube. That is incredible, they're actually doing it. They did not even announce a price increase too, which is really surprising. However, the library at the beginning is incredibly sparse. They start with Wind Waker. Great. Soul Calibur 2. You know what? Honestly, really cool game to bring back because it's got Link in it. And then F-Zero GX. Hell yes, dude. Why not? Dude, online F-Zero GX is what people have been wanting for literal years. And then that was it. You know, they also talk about being able to customize your controls within the GameCube mode as well, which is great. They did not show any other games. You know, they said Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, pretty much all the Pokemons, Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion 1. They said all those games were coming and that there's also going to be a GameCube controller, but they did not talk about Melee. No Smash Bros. Melee. And, you know, they're going to do Smash Bros. Melee eventually, right? I guess they're going to save it for later, but I'm just really, really shocked that they did not start with Smash Bros. Melee, because that is the defining game for the GameCube. And no Mario Kart Double Dash either. So it could still be a while before those games come. But the fact that we're actually getting GameCube Switch Online is just incredible. I cannot wait for this, man. I am so excited. And after that, another bombshell is dropped. Deltarune Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just all of them. You know, people have been waiting for Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 for like, what, 4 years now? And they're just going to drop all 4 of them on launch day. On launch day of Switch 2. This is just absolutely bananas, man. And we even saw Silk Song for like 1 second, but they did not announce a release date, but we saw it for like 2 seconds. And then following that was Borderlands 4. Again, this one's not really that surprising to see more Borderlands. And after that was Civilization 7. And that was pretty awesome to see those kinds of games coming to the Switch 2, because they even show it in the trailer that you can use mouse mode to move around. And they briefly talked about NBA 2K. And there's this other game, Survival Kids. I don't know. And Enter the Gungeon was also announced. Enter the Gungeon 2. And then after that, we got another bombshell announcement. Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition. I think a lot of people were expecting this one as well. So yeah, honestly, I'm not even that surprised to see it, but very, very cool. And then we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which again, not that surprising either to see. And that was followed by a sizzle reel, basically wrapping up most of the third-party games. I will say the most surprising thing about this is that we didn't see Halo. We didn't hear from Phil Spencer. I really was expecting Halo. I thought we were going to see it. And following that, they basically did one more third-party game. It looks like something brand new. It's being made by From Software. It looks like an interesting game. It's not one that I'm particularly interested in playing, but it is cool to see more third-party publishers putting out games like this for the Switch 2 only. And following that, okay, I was like, holy crap, this is a cinematic trailer. This is Sakurai's game, and it was just Kirby falling from the sky for like 15-20 seconds, and he was like trying to like reignite his star. And I remember I was so confused. I'm like, is this a new Kirby game? Is this a Smash Bros? Is Kirby in Mario Kart World? I was like, what the hell is this? And then as soon as the jet things, the little jetpacks showed up at the end, I'm like, holy crap, this is a sequel to Kirby Air Riders. And well, it's technically not even called Kirby Air Ride 2. It's literally called Kirby Air Riders. Of course, you know, as soon as I saw like the other vehicles that are from Kirby Air Ride show up here, I was like, wow, this is like one of the least expected sequels ever. Now, Kirby Air Ride is a fairly beloved game. I'm really curious how Sakurai is going to expand on this, because this is what Sakurai is working on. You know, it's not Kid Icarus, it's not Smash Bros. He is making another Kirby game. And I actually believe the last Kirby game that he worked on was the first Kirby Air Ride. So the fact that he is doing a sequel to this is so interesting to me. And we didn't really see much from it. I don't know what's going to be different about it. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more like racers, more vehicles, probably City Trials going to come back to some sort of extent. There's going to be online play. Who knows what else is going to happen, but the fact that we're getting a new Kirby Air Ride is just wild to me. And then the last thing they announced, I wasn't sure what it was at first, but after like 10 seconds, I started seeing more and more bananas, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's a new Donkey Kong game. And not just a 2D DK, it is a freaking 3D Donkey Kong game. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Donkey Kong 64. This looks absolutely incredible. Not only does the gameplay look fast, fluid, super polished, it's not just all that, but the art style. Oh my God, this is one of the nicest looking 3D platformers I've ever seen. And I just love the new Donkey Kong design. I just love how like accentuated the fur is on his skin. I don't know exactly what we're doing in the game. He's kind of just like running around smashing together. But wow, this game looks freaking awesome. And look, I guess we're not getting 3D Mario this year. This is our 3D platformer. That must mean that Nintendo must have something big for 3D Mario. We're probably going to get it next year. And I am slightly disappointed, I guess, that there's no 3D Mario. But the fact that we are getting a brand new 3D Donkey Kong, and it looks this goddamn good, I'm not even that upset about it. Like, it's fine. Like, this is totally fine for me. God, there's just so much about it. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, I love the name as well. Like, the game just looks so goddamn cool. And I also love how they reference the old Donkey Kong Country. They have like a little section where you just play in 2D. That's pretty fun. But yeah, man, dude, this looks great. It has a bunch of bosses and stuff. It just looks so stylized and fun. And the last thing they showed off was the Switch 2 boxes. There's 2 different bundles, a regular one and then another one with a Mario Kart World bundle. Wow, who could have seen that coming? But something that I wish that we saw was more colors for this, because we only have the basic black, with the orange and blue highlights on the Joy-Cons. And that's it. You know, there's no like white Switch 2 or just like different colors or whatever. It's just that one color and that's it. And that was basically everything for the Nintendo Direct. It was nuts. I mean, genuinely one of the best Directs of all time. I'm just so excited for the future. There's going to be so much to play. There's going to be so much to do. Like, holy crap, man. It's just going to be nuts. And also, I'm going to be playing the Switch 2 very soon. I managed to get a ticket for New York City. So this Sunday, I'm going to be playing the Switch 2, and hopefully I get to play Mario Kart World. Maybe Donkey Kong Bonanza's there. Oh my god, I hope that at least Mario Kart is going to be playable. But yeah, hi, last time with post-editing, but you know, the Switch 2 price has officially been unveiled. So $449 for just a Switch 2, and then with the bundle, $500. I know I already talked about this, but again, I really want to know what everyone else thinks about the price of this console. It's definitely more than I was expecting. I already know that this is going to outprice for a lot of people. I'm really curious if this is going to impact Nintendo's sales, right? You know, we already know the Switch 2 is significantly more powerful, so therefore making it more expensive, I think is just kind of a requirement here. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see how this system ends up selling with an $80 game and then a fairly expensive console on top of that. That's pretty much everything, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for the support. Let's get the Switch 2 generation started. I am so goddamn pumped for this. Let's do this thing, all right? I'll see you guys soon.